your payoff isn't like there because like Nicol Bolas Dragon God, Nicol Bolas the Ravager, these cards just aren't even that good, to be honest. Like I've seen like a lot of mono green, like Todd Anderson's been playing like mono green Devotion with Nicol Bolas Dragon God that you can cast off of Oath of Nissa. But in my opinion, the issue with this strategy is that Nicol Bolas Dragon God is worse than Nissa, Nissa Who Shakes the World. I think I'm waiting on the grief actually. Is worse than Nissa Who Shakes the World in my opinion, and I don't feel like you're really very incentivized to like play these cards. I just don't think that they're good. If you want to play like the cards because they're really fun and cool and full of that sweet Grixis flavor, then you know that is a good enough reason to do it. But just, you know, I guess consider carefully your decision. And then, you know, with that in mind, I also really dislike seeing Frantic Inventory as a card advantage engine in a Pioneer deck that's playing Consider and Tainted Indulgence, playing Frantic Inventory over Treasure Cruise or Dig Through Time. But in this list, I would probably play Treasure Cruise. It doesn't make much sense, is I guess what I'm saying. Yeah, I guess I'm going to Indulgence now to play around Spell Pierce. I got Spell Pierced really bad by creativity recently, so I'm just like committing to play around it forever. It just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Your Kolaghan's Command, like, you don't have good creatures to return. I wouldn't play it. I don't think it's that relevant. I would play Strangle over Flame Blessed Bolt, probably, unless, like, Phoenix is more popular than I think. The main deck Anger seems weird. Magic Channeler is cool. I think that card's fine. I would maybe play a second Extinction Event. Sideboard looks somewhat standard. I don't know if I have too many comments on it, to be honest. Seems fine, I think is my main comment. Definitely going to grief them again, trying to knock at creativity next turn. I think I pitched the Indulgence. Yeah, because if they do Archon me, I could discard the Rites and then Archon again. Alright, just need to dodge a creativity off the top, I guess. And I think those are my thoughts on that Grixis list. Yeah, I would definitely recommend like not playing it, but you know, if you do like Grixis, these are my thoughts. If you skip Bolas, what would you play instead? Well, that's the thing, is like, yeah, I would just be blue-black with like Gear Hulk and Shark Typhoon as the win conditions, or Rakdos and play the Rakdos mid-range deck. Or is it Creativity Gear Hulk? Like, I just don't think that there is a real reason to be Grixis. No, come on, stop. Okay, thank you for stopping. Yeah, creativity has definitely become really, really popular lately. I actually somewhat think that this creativity may be a tier 1 deck soon, where it's been very good and very underplayed in Modern for a while now, and I think people are finally kind of acknowledging that this is one of the more powerful decks in the format. Why is Bring to Light Valkyrie not a thing in Modern anymore? The Scapeshift, the 4-color Scapeshift decks do play it, but the reason why it's not a thing in Modern anymore is, in my opinion, Counterspell becoming a Modern staple has made 5-mana value plays almost unplayable. There are some exceptions, like Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, but Teferi Hero of Dominaria is always it's always been an exception to 5-drops, right? Because it's kind of plays like a 3-drop sometimes. You play it with Counterspell. But that's my evaluation, is that with Counterspell being in the format, you just don't want to play very many 5-mana value spells. I say, unironically, with Mulldrifter in my deck. I guess that one's 3-mana, I guess. Okay, up a game against creativity. So the Grixis version almost always does have ley lines. So I definitely want these Teferis. when I go down. I think I'll also cut a Mulldrifter for Ashiok this time because they're the Grixis, so they're on Persist. So I'll play the Ashiok now. For the Graveyard Hate. And then the self-mill in this matchup's nice too. Is Frantic Inventory just unplayable in Pioneer? Yeah, I can't imagine playing a Frantic Inventory deck in Pioneer as long as Treasure Cruise, Dig Through Time, Memory Deluge are legal. I just don't like, there's just like no reason. And if I was going to play it, oh, sorry, you should play Ledger Shredder in that deck over Channeler, by the way. It's just like, there's just like not a reason to play it. Like, you know, you also have Expressive Iteration. Oh, sorry, no, you don't have Expressive Iteration. That's banned now. But it's just like, yeah, Inventory is a cool card. It you know, Pioneer is not the format though that you need to be looking for like new card advantage engines. Like they've just explicitly said we just want Treasure Cruise to be the best card in the format, and you can keep playing with it for for the time being. And you just shouldn't like hear this message from Wizards and be like, okay, I'm gonna play Frantic Inventory, baby. Yeah, one day see the truth. Do you personally not enjoy Hammer? Can't remember seeing on it. So again, like what I like to do on the channel is I try to innovate. I try to work on, you know, decks I've been working on, return to old like brews of mine. That's just kind of what the channel is focused on. I have played Hammer, you know, on the channel. I played it during the trophy race some, and then like back when Kamigawa came out, I was like pretty excited to try Rabbit Battery in the deck. I still think Rabbit Battery is pretty good. It's like at least interesting as a Stoneforge Mystic target. But I say this a lot, and maybe I say this too much, but I would just lose my mind if the stream was, you know, Aspiring Spike decides which tier 1 deck to play today. I just like need to be doing new things and trying new stuff instead of just like picking a tier 1 deck from MTG Goldfish and playing it for today's stream. You know, maybe one day I do have like the strong urge to play Hammer, but I just don't want that to ever be like the main thing on the stream. They're not having Leyline's really nice. White card for Solitude's nice too. Am I going to innovate on Death and Taxes? I've had like a few ideas for Death and Taxes over the last like, you know, year or so, but there are some archetypes I just don't enjoy playing that much either, to be honest. And unfortunately, Death and Taxes is an archetype I just don't enjoy. Okay, so if they have a counterspell, just walk into it. I'm hoping that they just slam a Creativity next turn. I want to see ARAC 2020 build. Am I up for the challenge? Dude, this is the old meme. Spike, I bet you can't make 8-rack a tier 1 modern deck. I bet you can't make my pet deck amazing and modern. Yeah, I bet I can't either. I'm not up to the challenge. And here's like I said this like, you know, like you can play one copy of the rack in an Urza Saga discard based deck. But if you want to play 8-rack in 2022, just play Kroxa instead of any copies of the rack. You know what I mean? Kroxa is just like such a better win condition for discard decks than the rack. But I will not be manipulated so easily. Is Cowboy Tears new? It's a album from Oliver Tree. I went to the concert, got a shirt and a hat. Fall. Okay, so this is a turn 4 Archon on the play. If I just skip my first turn, discard turn 2, then Persist. And then I can Solitude on turn 2 after. I can also just play my land if I keep this. I can also mulligan. I think I'm going to mulligan on the play. Game 1, the blind. This hand's way better. There's a lot of times with this deck where I'm like, man, this hand is So close. And I almost talked myself into keeping it, and I just immediately mulligan into the nuts. I think game 1 especially, you're supposed to mulligan pretty aggressively with the deck. Wooded Foothills, Stomping Ground. Monkey. It's Jund. Any good at fighting video games? No. I'm not even like that good at video games in general. Dude, I've been playing Persona 5, and I've been like breezing through the game. No spoilers, but I've been breezing through the game. I just have it like a normal difficulty. I'm just having fun, mostly just like as a relaxing game to play. And then I get to this one boss fight, and I spent like all afternoon fighting it yesterday. It's like a strategy game. It's very easy. You just like it's like Pokemon. You just pick like the type differences. It's turn-based combat, and I just like I literally can't deal enough. It's such bullshit. There's 5 rounds, 4 enemies in each round. You have to kill all of them in 2 rounds each, or the round resets, and then you get lower. Oh, dude, Riveteer's Charm X on my yard. At least they main phase this, I guess. It all resets. Man, why did they main phase that? And it was such bullshit. I literally couldn't deal enough damage. I tried over and over again using all my items. I just didn't have enough damage. And so, I look online on how to win the fight, and you know how to beat the fight? You know what the answer is? You turn up the difficulty not to easy. I tried easy. I still didn't have enough damage on easy. You have to turn up the difficulty to the hardest difficulty. And then on the hardest difficulty, your characters also do more damage, but you take a lot more damage. And so like that way you're able to like just knock the encounter out really quickly. And so it was actually like super easy, but the solution was to just turn it up to again the hardest difficulty. You need to grind every time you get to a dungeon. I hate grinding. Just refuse to do it, to be honest. Sounds like bad design. Yeah, it was definitely really bad design. It is well done that fight is hot garbage. Yeah, I learned yesterday, huh? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of games where you like are forced to grind. I think I'll just Joel 2. Joel 2 again. Okay, it's a Persona 5. It's a Japanese RPG. Yeah, I haven't been grinding in the game at all. I've been just like, enjoying the story, enjoying the atmosphere. but that's also the thing too, where like I haven't struggled on a single fight the entire game. The entire game there has been like no difficulty into just like it literally impossible to beat. It was nuts. But I'm still having a good time. Okay, so can't get any value out of these Ephemerates. We'll have to make do. So probably sack the Ragavan. I'm hoping they can't kill this and then just ultimate the Liliana. Seems like maybe the case though. We could also, like, I don't know how bad a Liliana ultimate is for us necessarily. Okay, maybe not so bad at all. I'll leave myself the ability to Cottage back a Mulldrifter, but I'm mostly hoping my opponent just doesn't play something they can sack the Archon. Maybe I'll still Cottage back the Mulldrifter no matter what. Dude, dashing Ragavan here is not correct. Yeah, there's not really anything they can hit in my deck that I'm scared of, but if there was, I could Cottage back Mulldrifter just to like ensure that they like wouldn't hit a Thoughtseize if I was scared of that, but there's like no card with the mana they have I could be scared of here. But they were definitely supposed to play the Ragavan so they could ultimate Liliana through an Archon trigger next turn. And they sacked it. Liliana, discard the Ragavan. I got Mulldrifter in hand. I was playing Blue-Black Control and I played Dig or Cruise. I would play Dig. I can throw up my my draft I have for that deck in a second. I would play Rewind too. I think Rewind's good. I think I wrote a... this list is actually on Channel Fireball, or I submitted it to Channel Fireball. This is what I'd play if I was playing Blue-Black and Pioneer. They might not know Archon Fortune sack Planeswalkers. I think they probably do. Okay, so their graveyard hate is some combination of Riveteer's Charm, Endurance, maybe Voidwalker, maybe Nihil Spellbomb, maybe Leyline, but I think that Teferi is going to be the best splash damage against that. I'm going to cut all the Griefs. No, I guess Grief against Riveteer's Charm Endurance is important. Maybe we'll cut 1 Grave, keep in 3 Griefs, play 2 Teferi, 1 Grave, 1 Grief. This is probably fine. I don't think I want Ending. Munch for the 24 months. Happy 2 years. Welcome back. Thoughts on Blue-Red Crackling Drake with no Phoenix? I always felt like I always really liked the Phoenix Temporal Trespass package. I know a lot of people don't, but I just feel like that angle of attack gives you like a much better time against mono green, and I think even more so than Crackling Drake does. But I guess that's it actually. We can keep this hand. Ephemerate, if we draw a land, can Unmarked Grave into Persist. Every to brood anything with Painter Servant and Modern. Yeah, and that's why we don't do Dono decks anymore. I did bring in Teferis. Dude, these Jund players, they're just like I'm gonna have some good matchups. I'm gonna play main deck Riveteer's Charm, I'm gonna have Endurance, I'm gonna have Leyline, I'm gonna have Dothy Voidwalker, I'm gonna have it all. I'm just gonna have it all, and I will never lose to a graveyard deck. I'm not even gonna have a second card to target with Grief. Gosh, their hand lines up so well against mine. Ragavan, Leyline, no second spell to discard. Oh man, we might even like lose. We might even lose. Is Archon of Cruelty really the best Persist target when it's something like Loxodon Smite to be much stronger? Ooh. Dude, I love Loxodon Smiter so much. I remember when I first started playing Magic, like the first year I love that RTR Innistrad Standard, and I basically played like different green-white like aggro mid-range decks the whole time, and I think I played Loxodon Smiter in all of them. I was like, this card is broken. It's a 3-mana 4/4. That's already like super push. It's already like the best card in the format. I looked and I'm like, there's no other 3-mana 4/4 in Standard, and then you can't counter it. You can't make you discard it. I hope you make me discard it. It's just, oof, what a card. What a card. Loxodon Smiter good against Archon too. I think I'll take one hit here. Yeah, people used to play Loxodon Smiter in Modern too. They would play it in their like Abzan decks, and they would like discard it to Liliana all the time. They'd be like, man, this is good tech. People play Wiltleaf Liege and Loxodon Smiter, and this was like considered good technology for Modern. Alright, I'm going to Solitude this Ragavan, and I'm going to attack 6 times with the Solitude. My opponent's going to draw all lands and discard spells, and Leyline of the Voids. Next article, Loxodon Smiter should be on all decks. A good article. Oh, sorry, the Painter Servant deck. It was pretty bad, but I had like it was like a creature. So I was gonna, my plan was the Painter Servant on black. This was I was dono decked to build around Painter Servant and Modern, and so I was main decking 4 Veil of Summer. For Devout Lightcaster, which is a white creature, white, exile target black permanent when it enters. Okay. Just 6 turns, baby. 6 turns of you drawing discard spells, ley lines, and lands. And written 6s. So I was playing Divide Loudcaster, Mirroring Crusader, Veil of Summer. I probably still don't. I probably don't have it in the deck anymore, or in my decks anymore. But dude, winning this game would be justice. It was. I think we went 0-4 or something. We did not win a match. You Unmarked Grave here. I mean, I have a Teferi in the deck to bounce Leyline. Although I guess they'll just replay it. So I guess Unmarked Grave to thin is maybe correct. I can also hold it to discard to Indulgence and pitch to Grief. Dude, that's a 4-mana 3/2. Doubles my clock. I would love to win this game when they like. Oh man, I felt like I was like less than 5% after turn 1. Oh man, I can Grief the Ragavan if I draw a land. This is kind of huge. They're only 3 mana away from this. I'm doing well. Rat poison. I hope that you're doing well too. Poison any rats lately? No way! Maybe they have Veil of Summer. I don't want to jinx it. We just have if their last card's a dud, which it probably is. It could be Veil. No way! We just have them dead next turn, dude. Unreal. Their hand was like Leyline, Ragavan, and then I Grief Ephemerated them, and I didn't get to take a second spell. I had 1 land. I had to trade Grief for Ragavan. Yeah, they are 1 away from Archon. Dude, Leyline of the Void sucks. What are you gonna do if I just cast some 3/2s? Okay, 2/3 Tarmogoyf. A Stonewall. Combo deck. I think I just attack with the Grief, leave the Teferis and out to kill them if they kill my Grief next turn. Also, like, attacking like this means I beat Liliana Edict. I beat Riveteer's Charm Sacrifice. Rat Poison, 3 months, thank you. Again. Wait, did I not just... Oh yeah, I hope you're well today, CSC. They should have casted Seize for 3/4 Goyf. Yeah. Now they cast Fury. That would be pretty good. Alright, they're casting something. Collective Brutality, kill Grief, drain for 2. Now Goyf is at 3/4. Oh no. I mean, my deck is full of, you know, Mulldrifters and Solitudes, at least. Just finished your last videos of physical penis of the punts. Yeah, that was kind of rough. Thanks for coming in and rubbing it in, though. I just finished reading your Twitch comment, and I was in physical pain because of the cringe. Okay. Yeah, 2 more lands and we're hard casting. Although it might be hard to do so with this Liliana in play. Yeah, Mulldrifter, Teferi, Solitude. Grief would be fine too, I guess. I think I am supposed to still be fetching here. Okay. Okay. Any land in the deck enters untapped. What a game. Discard Heat, growing the Tarmogoyf to a giant 4/5 for only 2 mana. Yeah, lands are good, Solitude good, Teferi, Mulldrifter. Let's go. Let's go. It doesn't even cost me any life. Awesome. Dude, this was a 1 land to keep. Glad we didn't cast that Unmarked Grave. The thing is, my opponent knows I have the second one. They brutality'd me, right? So I'm forgetting what cards they saw. They need like Leyline or the Veil of Summer here. Veil Summer or Weather the Storm. Of cards that are like reasonable to be in the deck, it's like just Veil. Oh, they drained instead of discard. Never mind. You're right. You're right. Okay, good hand. Why Undying Malice for Feign Death? Literally just asking. Oh, I hate Undying Malice, but I love Feign Death, and I refuse to elaborate further. If you can't write me an essay on the differences, then maybe you should consider finding a different chat to hang out in. Okay, hopefully this is just burn. Okay, not just burn. Hammer, probably. Thankfully, not a turn 1 Sentinel. Would not mind drawing a black card to pitch to Grief, but would also not mind drawing an Ephemerate. Would not mind at all. Any plans for bank control updates? Kind of, like loose plans, I guess. Like, I think that the Bance Yorin control deck is pretty good, but I think it's like definitely a deck that I would probably, or definitely probably, it's a deck that I would prefer, I think, to play in a tournament setting than just in the leagues. And I would just need to spend some time with it, but I do think it's pretty good. It's also like a deck I would mostly just want to play on Magic Online than on in paper too. Okay, Slaughter. Gonna bring in the Stonies, the Prismatics, cutting the Griefs, Unmarked Grave, 4th Ephemerate, 4th Mulldrifter. Yeah, it was miserable to play in paper. I think it's very good for Magic Online. And I'm starting to think that maybe the energy event was different though because it was a team event. Like maybe people are more likely not to just play out garbage time in paper. And maybe now they're a bit more experienced, like replaying paper again. But just like that whole event, like I had like 7 cards in hand, 3 Planeswalkers, and my opponents would spend like 10 more minutes like drawing their card, looking at the card, looking at the board, thinking, passing without doing anything for like several turns in a row. Okay, keep this put back second Solitude, but this would be just like a beautiful 7-card hand against Hammer. But we have to keep obviously Indulgence, Persist, Archon, 2 lands, Persist. Curse you, Esper Sentinel. Here's my white card though. Pretty good top deck. Definitely have a lot more white cards plus board in this matchup, which is nice. Would not mind if they just hammered here. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm pretty committed to playing it tomorrow, but the list is probably going to be like a card or 2 different. I think just not giving my opponent 2 cards is really nice here, especially if they don't currently have Spell Pierce in their hand. They also like might Blacksmith Skill here and tap out, but I think again just like not giving my opponent the cards is pretty important. Can Cottage back a Solitude next turn? No Spell Pierce, let's go. Maybe this is just, you know, an easy match. Famous last words, maybe. I mean, if they Inkmoth Nexus, I have to block. But then we're still doing okay. We have Path. Animate Inkmoth Nexus, end of turn. Reality Chip. Wait, this doesn't stay on the Nexus, does it? No. What am I missing? I mean, I guess if they had 0 drops on top, they should have attached it, right? And if they had like no, they can't play them at instant speed. Never mind. Can't beat the quick Archon. Yeah. I think this matchup is pretty good. At least historically, I've liked the reanimation plan's solid in your Solitude deck. Good stream so far today. 3-0, 3-0, 6-0, very smooth league. All right, we have Unmarked Grave, Persist, Ephemerate. I don't have any lands. Okay, let's keep this hand. I think I put back the Grief on the mulligan. It's close, though. What do you think makes this list so much better than the other image list? Cottage and Touch seems super good. Is that really all archetype needed? Yeah, I mean, what the archetype needed, like, more than anything, was another good, like, way to cheat a creature into play. And Aethermage's Touch is that. But it's also, like, a nice... And then, like, Cottage enables a lot of consistency, not just for touch, but in like your late game top decks, where like in the mid to late game you're just like cottaging back Mulldrifter, Solitude, Grief, and just, you know, even if you're not on your reanimation plan, you're just like totally like outdrawing your opponents. Yeah, we're just very good fit for the archetype. I put the Grief down. I mean, we're on the mulligan. What card did you want to put back? The Rites? It was between those two. Obviously easier if we know the matchup. I attack you. I think with 13 months. Oh no! Give me that. Give me back my Mulldrifter. Yeah, I think Living In is a good matchup just because like you just get your stuff in the graveyard, you know. But Rhinos, I think, is like your worst matchup, where their bounce is really good against you, their Force of Negations are really good against you, their Endurance are really good, and they have a fast clock to back up all this like 0 mana interaction. Not that you can't win, but I would say that of all the decks, it's like I think Rhinos and like Tron variants are the two strategies I don't want to see. Yeah, but I'm always more likely to put one of these back if I am on the mulligan. Is my opponent gonna Ephemerate the Ragavan to stop dashing? They are. Alright, let's just, I think, hard cast a Grief. Just start 2-for-1ing. Any considers to Miser's Emissary of the sideboard? So historically I've played like one Emissary. It basically only comes in against Hammer Time and Living End. Okay, just take the only threat. Putting Rakdos Scam. Yeah, basically only like would ever come in those two matchups, which is fine. But my issue with Sarah's Emissary and cards like it is that it just doesn't have an Enter the Battlefields effect. And I think that in this deck, all of your hits need to have ETB effects, otherwise they don't play very well with Aethermage's Touch. And so that's why Terastodon is, I think, is fine, and Emissary is something I'd rather omit. That being said, I think that where I'm at right now is that the only real flex spot this deck has is sorry for stumbling so much. The 15 sideboard card, the Ashiok, and I think that you could totally play like an Emissary there. You could play a third Teferi there, but I've been liking the one of Ashiok too. Combustible Gearhulk has a pretty good ETB. Does it? I guess so. Alright, hopefully they don't find a Mulldrifter. I don't know why I just said that, and guaranteeing a Mulldrifter. A Grief is very good here, actually. Damn it. Well. This is like the 4th time we've Griefed this game. They drew another removal spell. So I think I'd have to persist this Grief, and I have to persist this Grief to not die to the Ragavan in 2 turns, and I've got like 2 turns to draw a Mulldrifter into something or a Solitude. I think I'll play the Cottage. It's kind of close, but what's nice about Cottage is if I go Mulldrifter into land, then I can Archon. I guess I could have done that anyways. But now I need to draw exactly Solitude. Okay. So down a game against Rakdos Scam, they should have Dathi Voidwalker, and then like maybe Leyline, maybe Nihil Spell, but maybe Unlicensed Source as their Graveyard Hate. think I'm gonna kind of sideboard similar to like Murktide and Jund, where I got the Griefs and one Ephemerate, and then I'll play. Man, Ending is like, I guess Ending hits Ragavan, but Ending's kind of awkward against like their Grief and Furies. I think this makes sense though. Yeah, we need to figure out why they're called scam decks. I don't really know. People just, you know, it's just a name that has stuck, I guess. I probably can't mulligan in this matchup. Is it a system for unfair? It's kind of the opposite, is that for like a long time post Modern Horizons 2, people were of the opinion that the like Grief Ephemerate or like Grief Ephemerate was like more defensible, but like Grief Malika Rebirth was like just kind of like whatever, and like not something that was something you were very incentivized, if incentivized at all, to like be in on in Modern. And it's like a scam. It's a scam to like sell you on the deck, I think is the idea. But I don't know who coined the phrase. I don't know if there's anything more to it. But also like having like a fast word that denotes the difference between like this variant of Rakdos and like the versions I usually play, like they're more mid-rangey, I think are kind of cool. It's nice to just have a fast, easy difference there. I'm playing my LGS Regionals on Sunday using the Blue Delver Shredder for Pioneer. Thoughts on the Control and Phoenix matchup? Thoughts on the Control and Phoenix matchup? I think the Control matchup is fine. I think the Phoenix matchup always felt a little unfavorable, but you have 3 unlicensed post board that are really, really nice. Yeah, I mean, I think to be honest, like Control decks and Pioneer are kind of like they're okay, but they're not really anything to be too afraid of for for most strategies. Has been my evaluation. All right, so they are unlicensed Hearse. We did bring in some Prismatic Endings. But Aethermage's Touch, thankfully, does not need to use the graveyard to function. Well, yeah, I'm not saying like blue-white is like unplayable, but it's definitely just like not something to be like too worried about. Oh, I did side out my Griefs though, so like I don't actually have that many hits. I'm gonna have to get pretty lucky without being able to set up with Cottage this game. But maybe we'll just get lucky, right? That Jund deck wasn't like Riveteer's Ascendancy wasn't good. We're gonna play a better version tomorrow with Charm instead. Okay, we did hit. I'm just gonna exile the Ragavan, block an Elemental token if they let me block. Okay, this is fine. Solid 2 for 1. And then if I draw a Cottage or like a fetch land, we play an interesting dance against the unlicensed Hearse here. We also dig 4 cards deeper for an Archon there. Hopefully we don't draw one for turn. Okay, yeah, we get to play the dance. Yeah, let's do the dance here. So now, like, they either don't get to tap their Hearse, or they know I can Aethermage's Touch of Solitude. Okay, I can Aethermage's Touch of Solitude now. And no reason to cast right now, I think. They could have another Ragavan. Okay, so we'll just make them spend their turn using another removal spell on Solitude. Only getting hit for 2. I think next turn I'm probably just going to hardcast Mulldrifter. Wait, what? What? If Liliana, maybe? They must have something good if they're going to like just play into this when they know it's coming. They just have nothing. Okay. Well, while you have nothing, I have a Mulldrifter. Another Mulldrifter for next turn. Hearse is pretty big, though. Can maybe pitch Solitude on it if they accrue. Yeah, I think they just misplayed. Or maybe there's like a bluff attack, right? Like, you know, it's not like crazy to think that I wouldn't cast the Aethermage's Touch there. How's the combo matchup? I mean, it depends on the combo, but like, it just depends on the combo. Some of them are better than others. I'd say Belcher's a bad matchup, but I am 2-0 against Belcher with the deck at the moment. Okay, I'll just block Ragavan with Mulldrifter. Yeah. Aethermage's Touch being immune to Graveyard Hate is super nice. And then if I draw another Cottage, then we get to play the same dance we did last time. I've got the Undying Malice effect. It's fine. Take one down to... Wait, how am I at 17? My life's so high. Okay. Didn't draw one. I think I should just Solitude this turn. I think that's fine. Just gonna play... I think I'm just gonna play this game a bit slower, and then very likely end up hardcasting an Archon just by drawing a bunch of cards with Mulldrifters. Just 2 lands away. Oh yeah, gain 6 from Solitude. 6 life is a lot of life. Lots of truth in the chat. How's the Bant Soul Herder matchup? Bad. I played against the Esper deck with Bant, and like you just have like all these Solitudes and Endurances, and you can even like tank a hit from Archon because you have so. Oh no! Red alert. We need to naturally draw both swamps. How's the Blood Moon matchup? Blood Moon matchup not that good, maybe. Come on, Solitude. Yeah, they did know about the Solitude. Do you do well against Burktide? Yeah, I have a crazy record. We're 2-0 against it today. I think we're something like 8-2 against overall or something. Ridiculous. Yeah, but can they beat the 3-2 lifelinker? Yes, they can. I mean, if I draw another Solitude, I get the Solitude the Grief. We're still playing, but very likely to take an L to the Blood Moon. Which I will take with grace and humility. It's definitely what you sign up when you play this version over the other version, is to be worse against Blood Moon. Interesting that they crude. I'm just going to concede, though. We can keep this hand. Don't think we do anything on turn 1. Ordinary hands, thank you for the gifted sub. One more before bedtime, thank you. The Shadow Spears in the main. 2 of these are in the sideboard. I think that's just 2 relics. Yeah, it's just 2 relics. Way to lose 2. We lost to Rakdos Scam. Okay. Main deck relic. Pretty good. I'm just chilling for now. Then if I draw a land, we can play a sub game with Aethermage's Touch. I did draw the land. Would something like Gearhulk be interesting as a 1 or 2 of the deck? It would be interesting. I don't think there's room, though. I wouldn't change anything about the main deck, to be honest. 2 main deck relics. What's so frustrating here is if they don't have the second main deck relic, I could go Cottage Bracket Archon, force them to pop the relic, Tainted Indulgence, Persist Archon, but they just have 2 relics. So they're just like, oh, okay. Well, they also are not familiar with the interaction, so that's nice. This has actually been happening a lot where, like, my opponent will have relic and they'll have spellbomb and stuff, and they just refuse to pop the relic in response to a cottage. They just like can't bring themselves to do it. Or maybe maybe nobody in, you know, this life has ever popped a relic of Progenitus either. So I give my friend Mickey some advice. I'll take the only card that does anything. So they only have 3 mana here. So even if they get a Karn or something, they have to top deck a land. They maybe just get like another Coffers. I'm trying to think what I would get with this info. I think I would be very likely to just grab another Coffers, but we'll see, we'll see. Yesterday I targeted my own prime time with Imprison the Moon, and my opponent let it happen. Copy my Titan, get 2 Vesuvas. It's just evil. Okay, they do get a second Coffers. Relic me. Never will ever pop a relic. And just like nobody in the history of Modern ever has. Dude, this is just crazy that we just get to like put an Archon into play through 2 main deck relics. Wait, they can't march this, can they? I guess they have to pitch some Fatal Pushes, but I guess the Fatal Pushes don't matter. They have 6 mana. They have 6 mana. They have to pitch one Fatal Push. Is this Esperless Miles better than the Marty one? I think so, yeah. Now I got punished for pitching my Persist. Unless they are going to pitch both Fatal Pushes so that they have Relic up with them, but we're not as punished. Let's card the last card, which is another March. We just evoked the Mulldrifter. Great to draw Ephemerate here. Top deck Karn? They did top deck Karn, which feels not great. So I'm hoping here that I draw a fetch land. Oh, they got Tormod's Crypt? I'm hoping that I draw a fetch land and I get to play like a more sub game, but I guess now I just need to like Solitude pressure the Karn, especially because I think they're likely to get coding. Ensnaring Bridge. I don't have an out to that. Besides just Archon triggers. Or just concede. I really don't want to concede though. Can I even trigger Archon this many times? I don't even think so. Barf. At least these Stony Silences will be good. Their draw step was 3rd Relic. What a joke. Yeah, I mean, this is game 1. I know it doesn't look like game 1 because my opponent has 3 relics in play, but I have outs post board, of course, to the bridge. So I can bring in the Stony Silences, cutting all the Solitudes, 1 Ephemerate, 2 Teferi. Ashiok's not too bad. I think I'll just play the Teferi instead. Oh, don't Terastodon? Terastodon's gotta be good. I think over 4th Archon is fine. Could also see cutting like Grief 4, Mulldrifter 4. I think I want other. I think I'll just cut Archon 4. Ashiok seems okay. It does seem okay, but again, you always need to make sure you're not over sideboarding. Ending Bridge. Well, we have Terastodon and Teferi for Bridge. I think that's enough. Especially when it's just like a Karn the Great Creator target, right? I'd cut the Burial, do the 4 main deck relics. We have Stony Silence for the relics, right? Is it Voidwalker a thing? I guess it's a thing. Like, I don't know what my opponent's list looks like, right? Like, are they playing Voidwalker? Maybe. But I know that if I was main decking 4 Relic of Progenitus and I had Karn the Great Creator for Tormod's Crypt, that I would not put Voidwalker in my sideboard, especially because I'm a Karn the Great Creator deck too, and so your sideboard's like pretty taxed. If they just have 4 relics, 4 Voidwalkers, you know, good for them, right? Good for them. But I don't think I'm supposed to be playing around it here, seeing the main deck relics. This is like kind of like the nature of playing Reanimator decks to some extent too. Is like sometimes you just play against someone who's playing an unreasonable amount of graveyard hate, and sometimes you beat them anyways. Like the other day we played against a black-white deck who maybe was even Q sniping, but they were playing main deck Voidwalker, main deck Kaya, main deck Urza Saga for Relic of Progenitus, sideboard Leyline of the Void. Just like I think they had like literally 20 graveyard hate spells in their deck, but we won anyways, which was crazy. Okay, happy that they took that instead of the Indulgence. They need to find lands. Oh, yeah, they also had Lion Sash. I think Ephemerate more. Every time I cut an incarnation, like here I cut the Solitudes, right? Every single time I trim like 4 incarnations, I guess I shouldn't have checked. But every time I do that, I cut a I cut a 1 Ephemerate. I've liked that strategy in the past. You know, it's okay to disagree with it. We have Necromantia Archon. Yeah, I said as I played the Watery Grave that I meant to play it tapped, but you know, that's nobody listens. What did that chatter say? The punts from your latest video caused me physical pain. Every time I make a mistake, it just hurts to see so many people see it, you know. And then so I'm always like, as soon as I catch it, I say it, and it's fine. Guess we're glad we cited out an Archon. Discard a land here. It's just natty Terastodon, I guess. Although, yeah, Tainted Indulgence means I can set up with Cottage if I find a creature, and if I brick on a creature, I'm digging closer to like where I would be with Aethermage's Touch. Yeah, we still have a Terastodon. Your phone vibrating in the Phoenix Ledger Shredder video causes me pain. I know, it's just these comments that are just like so hypercritical of every like little thing. I know you're probably half teasing here, but it just, you know, this is like the worst part of being a content creator is like is the micro analyzing every small aspect of your life. I think I'm gonna grief them. Oh boy, it's a really good hand. It's a really good hand. I think so. If they play Invoke Despair next turn, that's fine because then I can go Aethermage. They'll be tapped out of Relic, and I can go Aethermage's Touch, Mulldrifter, Ephemerate the Mulldrifter in my upkeep. So I think I just take the Karn. Take Invoke because it kills Stony. Well, if they don't invoke this turn, then I think we're okay. Because we're like, you know, we're gonna draw like 5 more cards, and we can maybe find another discard effect for the Stony or for the Invoke. And if they do draw land and they evoke now, then the Stony is going to be free to not get invoked yet. Draw 2. Rebound, draw 2. There's Terastodon. So now we'll play the Stony, and then I think I just grief all again. I guess I should have griefed first because I had the Ephemerate. But I'm happy enough to just take the Murderous Rider. If they Necromantia my Terastodon, it's fine. Yeah, Cottage is crazy. Or the mono decks cut to run Murderous Rider. No, they're playing March. I don't know. People just are obsessed with playing like goofy cards in this deck, you know. 4-main deck Relic, Murderous Rider, Necromantia, multiple Necromantias, March. I just don't like. I don't know how they fit the cards in, but it's fine. They do name Terastodon. I get a zombie or something. I get a zombie. Also fine. And then, so they play the Cabal Coffers we knew about. I think I'm going to just be casting a Grief. And then think about, yeah, I think let's go Draw Step, Ephemerate, Grief, the Rebound the Ephemerate on the Mulldrifter. Cast Tainted Indulgence end of turn. Think about, dude, they drew an instant? It's pretty unlucky. Yeah, pretty unlucky. Not the end of the world. So main phase, take up Blast Zone to, oh, main phase pop Blast, oh, Blast Zone for the Stony. Sorry, I don't know how I missed that. Pops a Relic, still has a Relic in play. Gross. Maybe I shouldn't be keeping these Persists, but I mean, it's not like the rest of my hand does too much. So one more turn before this comes down. Hopefully I find it's a Teferi next turn. That'd be really nice. Thoughtseize me down to 10. I attack them for 6. They probably go for Karn Bridge. Teferi would be your best draw by a lot. So I guess I'm going to Draw Step, Aethermage's Touch, trying to find a Grief. Or how many Griefs do I have left? I just have 1 Grief. Right, 1 Grief left in 24 cards. Not very likely to hit. I have no Archons, no Terastodon. Don't you want to upkeep Aethermage's Touch? Draw Step is better, I think. Like, I guess. I mean, even if they find an instant speed removal spell, it doesn't matter. They're gonna draw that anyways. All right, come on, last Grief. It'd be really exciting. Should be happy enough to hit the Mulldrifter, I suppose. But now they go for Karn Bridge, but I have. Oh, they went for Archon instead. Okay, this is actually like pretty fine. With me having 2 Persist and 2 Mulldrifters in the yard. I have to, oh, I started out my Solitude, so I guess it's actually not fine and I can't win, right? No, I can bounce the Teferi, I can bounce the Grief with Teferi. What a swinging game. I can bounce the Archon with Teferi and then Grief it out of their hand, but I had to draw the last Grief, and I did draw the last Grief, which is really exciting. Definitely way too greedy to, oh, sorry. I was thinking I was casting the Persist. I was thinking that I was too greedy too. Sorry. I guess I will just evoke, take the Archon to Teferi plus, upkeep, Cottage back Mulldrifter probably. But we have them dead next turn and they have to top deck crazy. If I did your turn, can maybe Mulldrifter to Teferi? Yeah, maybe. Oh, we don't have to because this bounces. Is it always like that? Braceball with 8 months, thank you. The Legend Rule Urborg, spend 14 mana, and for March of Otherworldly Light for 13 on a zombie. Okay, so how much mana do I have? I have 6, 8 mana, so not enough to Mulldrifter. It's a lot of life to work through. I think I actually... It's kind of weird, but... Just like getting the 3-2 in play for a faster clock, I think is fine. Out of cottages though. They draw land for turn. I only have 13 cards on my library. And I guess not too many of them do too much, but maybe I'll just draw Ephemerate and Ephemerate Grief a bunch. I think I still have some of those in the deck. Who knows? There we go. Kinda. I'll play out a Stony Silence too in case they invoke Despair. That doesn't kill both Stony Silences. Is fine, maybe. And I need to seriously think about if I'm going to Ephemerate my Mulldrifter on Rebound. Probably should. My opponent's lolling that I drew something. Alright, yeah, I guess I'll just have to check what I have left in the deck. I still have... No, I cited out the 4th Ephemerate. That Shatter is vindicated now. But I'm out... Yeah, I just don't have, like, anything left in the deck, I guess. I have no Teferi, nothing that matters, no Grief, no Solitude, no Archon, no Terastodon. So I'll just hope that they brick. End up drawing Mulldrifter. I mean, I might as well persist the Mulldrifter. I don't... I don't know if it matters too much. Maybe there's a way for me to persist the Grief. Not really, I couldn't kill it. I'll just attack, hope to get him. Beating, you know, a removal spell now. We also beat Invoke Despair, we don't die to it. They drew Castle Locthwain. We win. Awesome. Yeah. I don't know. It's always I shouldn't complain too much, but it is a pet peeve of mine when like your opponents are complaining about how well you're drawing, when they're also drawing really well, and the game is not over at all. Because like, if you're gonna complain about how well your opponent's drawing, you better win. You better win the game. You better win the game, because when you complain about how well your opponents draw and you win anyways, it's just like the ultimate BM. Yeah, I also drew like my entire deck, so it's not, I think, too weird that I drew all the good cards in it. Is Thoughtseize good versus Mono Black? It's okay. I think you're over sideboarding if you bring it in though, because we need the Stonies and we need the Terastodon, we need the Teferis, so it's hard to bring in more than like 6 sideboard cards. They Necromancer to give me a zombie, and it dealt like 10 damage. And we still have game 3, Do we take out second Terastodon? Yeah, it's not. We don't have the second Terastodon in the deck anymore. I do think that we now have the Ashiok. I do think that is something I'm considering to be a flex spot. Weird hand. Why are you saying someone assuming saying lol at the infinite game is toxic? They said lol in response to me ephemerating my Grief to take their card. Is why they said lol. Not that it's a super toxic thing, but again, I just don't complain about your opponent's draw until you lose. You shouldn't do it anyways, right? Like I don't think great form to complain about how well your opponent's drawing because they don't care. It's fine, especially it's not a huge deal. But if you are going to complain about your opponent's draw, do it when you've lost. Don't do it when you're top decking with like 15 mana in play. It's always my recommendation. Spins a Profane Tutor. Okay, so I think I should Tainted Indulgence, kind of trying to find a Teferi to stop the Suspend from coming down. I think I'll graveyard the Grief. I might like draw step Aethermage, just touch the Grief. Okay, but this turn... Yeah, this turn I guess we just go Grief, Ephemerate. And then Unmarked Grave and Archon into the yard, and then Aethermage just touch it next turn. Cling to Dust my Tainted Indulgence in response. I just have so much graveyard hate. Karn, March of Wretched Sorrow, Invoke Despair. So I have to take March, and then so they can get Cabal Coffers next turn. I think I take the Invoke Despair, and then if they just go Karn, Tormod's Crypt, then they're still in a weird spot against the Aethermage's Touch, which is fine. I can Grief kill the Karn. And I think that I like to go for the Archon here over Terastodon, although you could probably make a good case for Terastodon instead. Maybe better against like Necromancia. I feel like taking Karn, then Invoke Despair leaves them with mostly blank cards. Well, if I have to take March first, because March can kill my Grief if I don't take the March. Okay, they didn't get Coffers. They did get Necromancia. Okay. So now I can just go draw step Aethermage, just touch Grief. Yeah, I guess that was a good reason to get the Terastodon, but I think this is still fine. They meant on Rebound. Well, they didn't mean that on Rebound. Those are two cards to take. I can't take both of them. The first one has to be March, right? Or you mean on this Rebound? I see. Well, again, I don't think that that necessarily tracks either. Okay, so they're going to Swift in, leaving Karn in their hand. Can't Rebound. Can Persist. I think I'll save the Persist for like drawing Unmarked Grave or Terastodon. Maybe I'll just hit Terastodon, or I think I still Grief, honestly, if I Mulldrifter here. And then is it good to... No, I don't think it's good to main phase the Aethermage's Touch to play Grief again next turn. Oh boy. Maybe a little greedy to do this, but we can also Persist the Grief next turn. I think I go target Urborg, Swamp, Cottage. Then they pitch the Swift in. Yeah, their hand is Karn mystery card now. Yeah, now they can Cling to Dust here. I guess. They're probably not going to Cling to Dust Grief, though. They probably want to cycle. We do have to bounce our Archon end of turn, but we can also, like... Oh, they drew a Swift End for turn. Okay. So they still have the Karn, which is actually pretty bad. So they can't cast the Karn. They only have 2 lands. So I guess I'm just going to pass and then probably Cottage back a Grief. Maybe 2 turns in a row, just trading with Rhinos both times so I don't die to Rhino beatdowns. Why destroy my own Cottage? I'm just going to die to Elephants if I don't. Brutal. Literally the best card in their deck. Another amazing draw. So I can put a Grief on top and I just die. Dead. Rough stuff. I wonder if just like destroying all my own lands. I wonder if that was the winning line.